Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday the 10th of February. We saw a bit of a follow through yesterday on the moves, but before we get onto that, let's look at news-wise. There was no significant news there yesterday. The Guard did actually have a speech there which was unexpected, just came in just before the before it was due. But aside of that then, today we got core retail sales. These are all older figures. How many days? 27 days. So they're stale effectively. We might see an impact from them, but I don't expect too much interest from there. The big ones are really tomorrow's non-farm payrolls, which are only about 5 days late. Right. Let's have a look at the numbers then, or look at the numbers, look at the charts even. And as you can see, the euro it continued its sort of recovery yesterday morning into the afternoon there. It went a lot further than possibly I expected, but it happens sometimes, and it already run this up to this sort of R2 area, or just short of the R2 there. Carried on pushing through quite strongly. Now it's a case of a bit of wait see this morning. It might come back to its pivot. It's the reaction then off the pivot that we would be looking for. Alternatively, if it starts moving post 8:30ish beyond this trend line, I'd be looking at the longer side of that. So there's the euro, quite clean at the moment, reasonably clean. Depends on how long the sideward action goes on for. Cable not too dissimilar in terms of pattern. I did have an alert here just on the just in case it continued in its downside, didn't kick off. Actually, I can remove that. Let's just get rid of it now. There we go. Delete that. I always have lines everywhere. Okay, but it too. It's got the charts now. This is close to the pivot again. Same plan here is look at what reaction we get, if any, to that pivot. If it starts continues to run through, well, you just leave it alone. But if we get reaction to it, let's just look at it and see if it's big enough to take a trade. I'll show you what I mean by these reactions in a moment, because we had a beautiful win yesterday. US dollar yen, this is still to me a bit on the choppy side. It is correcting. It's not the prettiest looking market in terms of what it's doing. It's put a little continuation pivot swing there. If you could turn around quick enough on the 4 hourlies, it's got scope to run through. It sort of broke down and gave us the signal that this bigger move is turning. You see it on the 4 hourly, the hourly there. So we've got a potential correction running through. So it does look like it's got some potential to the downside. We do need to see the euro and the pound, etc., going positively, and for this to go negatively. Okay, Australian dollar been the most bullish. Now this is a funny old point here, because it's making sort of near-term highs here. I mean, you keep having to go back to the other charts here to see, well, what's next, and there is something next by the looks of things, right the way back here, 71.55ish area. So that would be the next draw. It's not very far, it's only 90 pips away from where we are at the moment ish. But what we've run into is this R3 on the quarterlies here. So it's had such a strong move up. Now it's really a case of, can it do something from where it is here. It's double bottom now. It's sort of double topped over the top here. It's a bit of a W pattern here, which are nice at the bottom. Whether this is actually going to continue through, we'll see. But this is one of the bits of the testing points. This is what I'm looking for in terms of the euro and the pound, whether they do things like this. The thing is, if they continue and do this is possibly going to be going lower first. So it depends. I mean, it's probably one of the stronger currencies at the moment. if not the strongest. It's been running pretty well, but just wait see on this. But it looks pretty decent. US dollar CAD managed to get into a short on this yesterday. Has broken down what I was looking for here, the previous day's lows. It's running on the south side at the moment. It is finding a bit of support into the weekly S2 here. These things aren't straight lines. We always got to remind ourselves, and it's catching probably a little bit of divergence there. We just watch what happens here, but it did come off quite nicely there yesterday afternoonish, midday-ish, afternoonish, and we'll have a look and see. Again, this could be a move back at some point into the pivot there, and it'll be a reaction to see what happens. It's a bit like what we saw here, not tradable for me because it's pulled back up there, had a little dance, and off it's gone. Really want that in the trading period. Probably this afternoon would be perfect. Okay, Euro Aussie is one that I've been looking at quite nicely. This is a good example of where you've sort of it's gone back up, it's had its reaction to its pivot there, had the inside bar and then a breakdown from that, and it's run down back towards the lows where all the support was sitting around that area. So that went off nicely there. Now it's possibly, as I say, gaining a little bit of strength here. We'll just watch how this goes, but a breakdown below that pivot could see a continuation to the downside. In terms of support on this, we sat in it yesterday. We've got on the bigger time frames here the monthly S1, but we haven't had the pivot hit, so there's a potential for that to, if it breaks that, to run down to its S2. Yeah, looking quite strong, the Aussie against the Euro, or the Euro looking weak against the Aussie, whichever way you want to look at it. Right, okay. That's the majors and the crosspair there, just sharing with gold. Let's have a look at gold and silver actually. So gold still, yesterday it didn't really do a great deal more. It was flattened out as far as I saw there. Yep, it just remained relatively flat there. Now might give opportunities for the bulls to get in on a break up here at some point. It's it wants a bit more of a recovery. This slower recovery from this regression trend would probably be nicer. In other words, if we had a bit more of a retrace and then it just continues up, would be a nicer move and more sustainable. Silver down 2% today. Again, it's largely in that bigger trend. It's just all this noise that was caused. It's very affordable relatively, and obviously more traders jump aboard. Probably open more to the retail side as much as anything else. Again here, a break, maybe back above even the highs there, could see a continuation. It has got the scope to continue through. It's below its mean there, that I drew on there, so we'll see. But it's got scope to run back up that way. Right, okay, oil, mess, there we go. We looked at oil. So S&Ps heading back up there. Yesterday, sort of more consolidation almost of what we're seeing here at the moment. Short term there, consolidation. Did it mainly in one bar there at 3 o'clock. Run out of steam a little bit there, which is not surprising. I was just looking at the Nasdaq. It didn't really do any better. Now this is the weight on the markets in a sense, because this is, if we saw more positivity kicking through, the AA frenzy that we've seen of late continue, this would drive the markets full stop. The Dow is, well, kicked into new all-time highs there for it yesterday and is still hanging in there. It's still looking pretty solid here. Solid but not the prettiest on the shorter time frames, but maybe this afternoon if it starts breaking to the upside, it'd be a bit more interesting. But as notice I said this afternoon, FTSE, weird old spiky stuff going on here. So the FTSE, I was going to say, aided by the fact that Starmer had his cabinet support him. Just makes them all unvotable, doesn't it? Let's see how long that lasts for. Anyway, just looking at it yesterday, moved up quite nicely. There's always the scope on this. Don't know what this little spike or what caused this little spike here. We've had a bit of news out this morning, so lower value news that kicked in there. But anyway, it's all in all, well, there's the scope for the continuation there. The markets won't like another, if we were pushed to a general election, they won't be liking that necessarily. For sure, it's most likely going to be a hung parliament if there was a general election anytime soon. As we look through what's going on here on the DAX still, well, it's ranging, isn't it? Here at the moment, it's within a range sort of area, but a positive looking market. If it was to pop down here, catch the pivot, turn round, that would be okay. Don't mind this morning if it kicks off at some stage. It's got plenty of scope before it even gets back up there, and that's the sort of target area where it might go. It is quite messy when you look at it on the dailies though. It's not really out of the woods yet. Still bouncing around, ping pong. Okay, yeah, looks okay over the last 3 days, or 2.5 days, beg your pardon. Right, I'll leave you there. Have a great day's trading, and I will catch you tomorrow morning. Take care. Bye for now.